Hey everyone, it's Tox from critshappen.com. Thanks for watching and welcome back. We're here with another critical preview where we take a game that's about to be on Kickstarter, put it through its paces, and then let you know our experiences while playing it. This time out, we're looking at a new game from Vision 3 Games. Now you may remember them from last year's Incredibrawl on Kickstarter. Incredibrawl was a game that we did a preview for here on Crits Happen. We enjoyed it very much and it did very well. It was a very successful project. Jake, the brains behind Vision 3, is now back with a second game, and this one is completely different, not only in gameplay but also in art style. This one is called Strife, Legacy of the Eternals. And Strife sounds very simple. Each player, it's a two-player game, each player has 10 cards. The 10 cards you have are the same 10 cards that I have. They represent different characters inside of the world of Strife. And we're both going to be fighting over locations that will give us points. At the end of the game, the person with the most points is going to win. However, while it sounds simple, usually those things that sound simple are not. In Strife, you're going to be set forth with the same cards that your opponent has. Meaning, my monk does the same thing your monk does. My druid does the same thing your druid does. We're each going to have the exact same 10 cards. But it's going to be a matter of how we use them, not just on the field of battle, but as our legacy champions from our legacy pile that's going to determine the winner of each location. There are a lot of combinations inside this game for as little amount of cards as there are, and it's something that provides very interesting and exciting gameplay. Let's grab all our warriors, all our monks, and all our druids and jump into the world of Strife. So here you see a game of Strife set up for two players. It's a two-player game where player one has their stuff down here and player two has their stuff up here. Now, these little score tracks are really cool. They're just really simple cards where you lay one on top of the other. You slide this down as you gain points. As you gain more than 10, you flip it to 10. As you gain more than 20, you flip it to 20, and so on. So that keeps track of all of your points during the round. Now, there's basically three things set up here. We have the locations in the middle, and they go from the location deck to the right, with the rightmost location being the location that we're fighting over. In this game, we have the Temple of Shin Tilai, which says it's worth 4 victory points, and you get to add 3 power to any monks that battle here. You have a 3 victory point Kingdom of Astaria, which says add 2 power to any knights that battle here. And then you have the Pit of Souls, which is worth 1 victory point, but says add 2 power to any necromancers that battle here. Now again, we're only going to be fighting over the rightmost card, but it's good to know the next couple of cards coming out because there are some combinations to move things around and shift the order of things. Now in addition, you have your hand of cards. Each player again has the same hand of cards. But in addition, at the beginning of the game, each player is going to select one champion from their deck and put it into a legacy pile, and that's going to become their legacy champion. That's what these two cards are. In addition, each player selects a champion to battle at the first location face down. Now, what that means is nobody knows anything other than these 3 cards that are out in the beginning. From here, people can get aggressive, they can get defensive, they can get combo-minded. It all depends on what's going to happen and what they choose. But more importantly, the next thing we do is we're going to both reveal our legacy champions. Now in this case, player 1 has chosen a warrior. He has a power of 7. Player 2 has chosen a druid who has a power of 6. The very first thing that happens is you take the D10 that comes with the game and give it to the player who has the highest power of their legacy champions revealed at the beginning of the game. So player 1's going to get that with the warrior having 7 and the druid having 6. Now what does that D10 do? Well, it represents a fate stone. The fate stone is very important, and this is a really unique mechanic inside of the game. If there's ever a tie, and everything is based off of power, if there's ever a tie, the player who has the fate stone has the choice of either losing the tie and keeping the fate stone, or increasing the fate stone by 1 and passing it to their opponent. If they do that, they win the tie, but their opponent now has the fate stone. Now why is that important? Well, at the end of the game, whoever has the fate stone is going to get victory points equal to the number on the fate stone. So that can rack up really quick. Okay, so now that we've gone through and we've selected our 2 champions from our hand, we have our legacy champions set to go. Let's begin this first round. Strife is a 2-player game that's played over the course of 3 rounds. 3 rounds means depleting your hand of your champions, resetting and going to the next round. At the end of the first round, you're going to have 1 or more champions left in your hand. That champion or choice of champions is going to become the topmost legacy champion for the next round. As time goes on, the champions that battle are going to be put into your legacy pile. They're going to become your new legacy champions for future rounds. So, let's go to battle and let's see who wins the Pit of Souls. The very first thing we do is both players are going to flip over their champions. Now, we're going to resolve our battle abilities first, which are our top abilities. The Knight has a power of 8. The Assassin has a power of 2. So this does not look good for the Assassin player, but let's see how it plays out. The Knight, since he has a power of 8, uses his calculated charge, which says you may move both players' battle champions to another face-up location. Well, guess what? The Kingdom of Astaria is very beneficial for the Knight. So the Knight player sees this and immediately thinks to himself, this is going to be a better move. Move both players over to the Kingdom of Astaria. He has an 8, he has a 2, he feels like he's in good position. Well, now the Assassin gets to trigger, and the Assassin says, Stealthy Disguise. The Assassin may exchange positions with your legacy champion. So the Assassin is going to switch between the Assassin going to the legacy pile and the topmost legacy champion coming out into the Kingdom of Astaria. Now you may say to yourself, well, that's not bad, but it's still a 6 and it's not an 8. So how is that going to help the player down here with the Druid and the Assassin? Well, after you finish the battle phase, you go to the legacy phase, and you handle their bottom abilities. Now we look here, and again, this is judged by power. So the warrior has a 7, the new assassin that is now this player's legacy champion has a 2. So the warrior is going to resolve his first, and it says attack from below. Reduce the power of your opponent's battle champion by the victory points of the current location. You may also use the warrior's base power instead of your battle's champion's final power during combat. So he could use the 7 for his player's combat, but in this case it's not going to be good enough for him, so he's going to keep his 8. But more importantly, he gets to reduce the Druid's power by the victory point. So the Druid is going to go from 6 down to 3. This makes it even harder for the Druid player to be able to win this location. However, now the Assassin's legacy ability triggers, and the Assassin's legacy ability says, from the shadows, increase your battle champion's power by 6. That takes the Druid up to a total of 9, and the Knight to a total of 8. Now that both players have finished their battle phase and their legacy phase, we go to the combat phase and see very simply who has the highest power. It's a 9 to 8, so this player will actually win the Kingdom of Astaria. Now, if the Knight had won that, that would have been really nice. But wait! He does, and here's why. Add 2 power to any knights that battle here. That means the Knight actually goes from 8 to 10. So while it looked really good that the Druid and Assassin was going to pull off a really nice combination, the Knight's ability to move people over to the location that would best benefit him ended up holding out from the attack. So the Knight player with a total of 10 and the Druid player with a total of 9 ends up winning for this player. He would increase his points by 3. He would then move his Knight to the top of his legacy pile, and the Druid would be moved to the top of this player's legacy pile. The Temple would move over 1, and a new location would come out. Now again, we're going back to battle over the Pit of Souls. So we would now choose 2 new champions. Now this is where it gets even more interesting, because the choice you made for your battle champion now becomes your legacy champion. And there are some really interesting moments and interesting times that you have to choose. Maybe I don't want to use this character to win this battle, but I really want them as my legacy champion for the next turn. And that is the joy inside of Strife. Finding the right combinations to move your characters into position to either gain control of the location you are fighting for right now, or set up your legacy pile so that you are ensured a victory for the next round of fighting. So that is Strife. Strife is one of the best games I have previewed in all my critical previews. And that's saying quite a lot because we've done a few. Strife is visually stunning. I absolutely love the artwork. But as you know, if you follow me, artwork always scares me because it makes me think, is that just a pretty veneer on top and there's not much substance underneath? I'm here to tell you confidently, Strife is one of the best games that I have played in a long time, especially considering its size. There are so many combinations inside of the game. Just simple things. There's 2 card combinations that are just soul-wrecking. There are 4 card combinations that we've pulled off. There are so many different things that you can do, and the beauty about the game is that it's not so much the fact that I know every possible combination, because could I? Yes, I could probably sit down and work out every possible scenario if I was like a total analysis freak. But the reality is you're moving at a very fast pace. This is a game that is on the go, it's travel, it's portable. You're playing in hotel bars, you're playing in restaurants, you're playing in lines, things like that. The thing that I love about it is that there are things that you won't even realize, even after playing 5, 6, 7 games of this, that can happen. And it seems so simple and so innocuous that there are just 10 cards, you have 10 and I have 10. But when you start to see those combos come to life and you start to see a 3-chain, it gets so exciting to pull off the right maneuvers at the right time. Now there is a little bit of playing the player as well. You have to start to judge, what do I know my opponent has played, and what does he have left, or what does she have left that could then come out. So there's a little bit of guesswork involved in that as well. But again, since you both have the same 10 cards, that works out very quickly. It's a game that's provided a lot of replayability for us. We've probably, since we picked this copy up at Gen Con, played it about 25 times. It's really that quick and that much fun. That's one of the things I love about it, is that you can get a game done very, very quickly. Now, the Fate Stone, we talked a little bit about this. The Fate Stone is really cool. It's a D10. It's a D10. Almost every game has a D10. But the way they use this is really interesting. What happens with the Fate Stone, again, is that if you tie, then the person who's holding the Fate Stone has the choice of either increasing the Fate Stone by 1 and passing it to their opponent, thus winning the tie. But if they do, they give that Fate Stone to their opponent, they may never see it back again, and at the end of the game, the Fate Stone is worth points equal to what is on the die. That can get really high really quickly, especially if you choose right. There's also some great subtleties involved with that. When you have a gut feeling of knowing what your opponent's going to play, you play the exact same card to force a tie and have them with the Fate Stone, forcing them to give you the Fate Stone and rack it up 1, or keep it and lose the tie. Really, really subtle mechanics like that is what really sets Strife apart. I really thought they did a great job with this. And the other thing that I really love about this is that there's a lot of room for expandability. Just in the locations alone. The locations are very basic, right? Like Baladon's Rock is worth 3 points, and it says add 2 power to any warriors that battle here. Very simple, and there's a lot of them like that in the deck. There's things for druids, things for paladins, things like that. There's a lot of expandability. I can easily see more locations coming into play. I could easily see more locations that do more complex things, interacting with a legacy champion that may be brought out of your deck, or a champion that uses, that battles the location, that pulls a champion out. There's all different options that could happen with those types of things. The characters as well, while brilliantly vibrant and beautiful in artwork, the combination of their battle skill and their legacy skill could easily be expanded on as well. There is a host of different things that could be pulled from this game. Just inside of its own lore, but then also mystical lore kind of combining with that. I could see an Egyptian expansion. I could see, or maybe like an Old Western expansion. There's tons of different themes that could be applied to the same mechanic and still come out looking really good. So I'm really excited not just for Strife the game, but for Strife and the future of the game inside of Vision 3's portfolio. So, that is Strife. Is this the first time you're hearing about it? And if so, what do you think? If not, have you seen it already, and are you looking forward to the project? Well, the Kickstarter is going to be up very soon, so we'll have links at the end of this video and below in the video description so you can check it out. In the meantime, though, jump in the discussion by either leaving a comment below in the YouTube channel, going to Facebook or Twitter and searching Crits Happen, or joining us at critshappen.com. But until we see you next time, we hope you enjoy all of your monk, druid, and paladin battles inside of the world of Strife. Thanks so much for watching, keep rolling those dice, and we hope they're all crits.